Hey guys, welcome to 3 and Out. You can check out the podcast below in the description. And here's what I need you to do. Make sure you subscribe to the Volumes YouTube channel to stay up to date to everything we're doing here on 3 and Out and the Volume. Overall, the Raiders have played in 2 Monday night games that were just pretty awesome. Like, I was pretty glued. Now, I'm a little biased. I follow these divisions really closely. Known Carr since he was really in high school at Bakersfield Christian when he was committed to come to Fresno State. Justin Herbert, I've had a soft spot. And let's start with the Chargers. It hit me tonight. Like, sometimes luck has to be on your side. We all have to get a little lucky. People often ask, like, how'd you meet Coward? I'm like, on Twitter? We didn't have, like, some connection. I met him through Twitter. I'm sure a lot of people listening, how you met your girlfriend, how you met your wife, like, there's some luck involved, especially if you met them out at a bar or at a concert or at an event. Like, what if they hadn't have been there that night? What if you had never met them, right? I mean, there is luck involved in life. And when you look at the Chargers, the 2 most important people in this franchise right now, the quarterback and the coach. Well, let's look how they got the quarterback. They got him 6 overall. Well, Joe Burrow went 1. Joe Burrow's a star. Chase Young went 2. Let's face it, he's really good. If the Washington football team, who have a little bit of a problem right now, I don't know if it's on them, but did you see the feds raided their trainer, his offices, his house? He didn't travel to the game. Kind of a weird deal. I guess it's not football related, but something to keep an eye on. They would trade Chase Young for Justin Herbert in a heartbeat. Of course they would. Then the next couple picks, Jeff Okudah, who was terrible before he tore his Achilles, and Andrew Thomas. And then this guy named Tua Tagovailoa, who just isn't very good. There is not a person in this world beside the family of Tua that would take Tua over Herbert. So for the Chargers to acquire, and I was also thinking today, they went from Drew Brees to Phillip Rivers to Justin Herbert. Like, Dean Spanos has had it pretty good in the quarterback, room. I mean, it doesn't get that much better. It's not exactly Favre to Rodgers or Manning to Luck, but that's pretty damn good. And they got this guy with pure luck because the Dolphins are in shambles right now. It's going to go down as one of the great swings and misses in NFL history that they took Tua over this guy. And listen, you don't apologize for luck. When you are not drafting 1 overall, you do not control the draft. Anyone who, your team's drafting like 14 or 18 or 23, so much is out of your control, especially if you're not going to trade up. You need a lot of luck. You need a lot of crazy things to happen. I vividly remember working at the radio station, and I was covering the Raiders draft at the Oakland Coliseum with Greg Papa, who was the voice of the Raiders at the time, and we were doing a draft show. And it was like, could they take Sammy Watkins at 5? Like, Khalil Mack's going to be long gone. If you remember, Mike Mayock, ironically now the general manager of the Raiders, had Khalil Mack as his number 1 overall player over Clowney. And that was pretty polarizing at the time. And Clowney goes 1, and then a couple other guys. And then all of a sudden, Buffalo trades with Cleveland and takes Sammy Watkins number 4. And Khalil Mack falls into the Raiders' lap. Now, it's not as crazy with Justin Herbert because looking back, Justin Herbert wasn't viewed as some all-time prospect. But when you really dive in to why I think he was nitpicked, his offensive coordinator, the offensive coordinators the University of Oregon has had over the last couple decades are guys like Jeff Tedford, Chip Kelly, right now Moorhead, the dude from Penn State who's a stud. Even Helfrich was pretty damn good when he was under Chip, right? Justin Herbert had Marcus Arroyo, who is now at UNLV for the last 2 years. He has yet to win a football game. The University of Oregon has also historically had a lot of talent at the skill positions. Wide receivers, tight ends, running backs. In Herbert's, especially his junior and senior year, I don't think he played with an NFL skill guy. So he had an offensive coordinator who had no clue what he was doing, and he didn't have any talent around him. So he's a physical freak. He's 6'5", 6'6". He's 230 plus pounds. He's got a huge arm. He was a 4.2 student. What more can you ask for? And it really is nuts. And it's not fair to do this because at the time it was like, of course you would take Tua over Herbert. But looking back, it's like you take this little guy from Alabama who's always injured over this physical specimen. Like, it's just one of those things that's not going to age very well. And then think about the coach. Think how much luck was involved to make Brandon Staley the Chargers head coach, which, listen, the guy's a big-time coach. I was probably critical of him a year ago at the start because everyone's like, oh, this Rams DC. Sometimes I'm just a little counterculture. So I saw everyone going one way. I went the other way. I had a buddy who had worked with him. Was like, yeah, I think he's a little overhyped. I was wrong. The dude is a star head coach. He's big time. He's easily right now a top. Now, for defensive coordinators, are there really like 5 or 6 that you would really want? Probably max, right? Fangio's one. He's also a head coach. Like, it's a short list. Todd Bowles, he's on it. He's a head coach and he's a defensive coordinator. The dude's a stud. But the reason, and they talked a little bit about it on the broadcast, God, the Mannings, we miss you guys. We'd like it if you come back. I saw Eli had a good tweet, like, just texting or talking on the phone with Peyton Manning. Kind of missed this. We're all sweaty. It's like, yeah, bro, can you just do every game? But Brandon Staley ends up as the Chargers head coach because Sean McVay hires the guy from the Denver Broncos. Well, think about this. Brandon Staley had been in the NFL before that like 4 years. So it was pretty good, pretty good vision by Sean McVay to get this guy, Brandon Staley. In no world did Sean McVay think he was going to lose his defensive coordinator within a year. He was like, this guy was at John Carroll 4 years ago. This guy had never coached in the NFL before like 2016. But then he learned from Fangio. He clearly takes good notes, and he's just a really good natural coach. And then the Chargers, who are also in the market, realize, God, this guy's leading the number 1 defense. God, this energetic coach really kind of, pops in this area, in Sean McVay. Well, what does Brandon Staley bring to the table? He's a really innovative defensive mind. He actually was a college quarterback, and he's highly energetic and intelligent. So they hired him. But if they had been, to me, in a different city, I don't know if it happens. So the element of luck to getting the 2 most important people in their franchise were Herbert falling in the draft, which looking back, at worst he goes 2. And I think, listen, I'm a big Joe Burrow guy, but if I had to choose, and listen, I'm biased, I like stronger arm quarterbacks, I would take Herbert over Burrow. I wouldn't argue with you if you took Burrow, but it just shows you, looking back, like, how did that happen? Brandon Staley, if I would have told you 3 years ago he would have been a head coach when he was an outside linebacker coach for Denver, you would have looked at me like I had 3 heads. So, and listen, you don't apologize for luck. Sometimes it just happens. And the Chargers are benefiting from it. They're 3-1. They just beat the Chiefs. Then they beat the Raiders. Like, they look pretty good. And for the Raiders, I'll give them credit too. To start 3-1 with that schedule, like, that's impressive. They look good. They are clearly better than years past. And it might be a little luck on their part, / they didn't have any other options, but they just stuck with Derek Carr over the years. And now they're reaping the benefits. Like, he's a really good quarterback. Is he a top 5 quarterback? Probably not. Is he somewhere between like 7 and 11? Yeah. Can you make the playoffs with that guy? Hell yeah. Have they done a great job of surrounding him with a lot of talent? Darren Waller a couple years ago was a guy battling drug addiction. Now, I was texting with a guy on the Chiefs. He's like, yeah, he's right there with Kelsey. The dude's a star. I mean, Darren Waller, how many non-quarterbacks on offense in the NFL would you take over Darren Waller? The list is short. Josh Jacobs, stud. Henry Ruggs coming into his own. Gruden, I give him credit. Like, his offense, he struggles a little bit on short yardage, but he's got some conservative tendencies. But I also give him credit. He hired Gus Bradley, and the Raiders, for the first time in decades, can tackle. And I say this all the time. I think sometimes, like, to get to the Belichick or Todd Bowles or the Vic Fangio, you dive so deep schematically in defense. To me, the most basic element of defense, if you can do this, you have a chance. Open field tackle. If you open field tackle and then you get some talent on defense, you'll naturally get a better pass rush or some better coverage. But if you can't open field tackle, I don't care who's playing for your defense, you're going to get torched. And the Raiders, and I've had a front row seat for them for about a decade, they have been the worst tackling team in the league. And now they just tackle. And you can tell they are a credible playoff level squad. Game was awesome. The AFC West is really good. I mean, I think with Teddy Bridgewater, who got a concussion, the Broncos have a ton of injuries. They're going to come back to earth a little bit. But between the Raiders, the Chargers, and the Chiefs, a little bit like the NFC West. I mean, you could probably argue those are the 2 best divisions in football. And honestly, it might not be close. Thanks for watching 3 and Out. You can check out the podcast below in the description. And make sure you subscribe right now to the Volumes YouTube channel.